Please remember that all the opinions in the show are those of the host and should only be taken as food for thought. We're in no way telling you to do anything. Everything is kept anonymous for the safety of the listeners and no information is shared to anyone else. If you are easily offended by people's opinions or views, then thank you for making it this far, but this is not the podcast for you. So see you later. And please enjoy the rest of the show. My friend is getting trashed for sleeping around, but I think it's no different to a guy doing it, and he wouldn't be called a slut. In 2024, do you think it's acceptable for both guys and girls to do what they want with their own bodies? Happy to see Brian come back. I'd love to see more of the TSD guys.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Happy to be back. So you sound like a single lady, eh? No, I'm a married man. I'm joking. But no. So here's the deal. It's 2024. Your friend is free to sleep with whoever she wants, however much she wants. But at the same time, you have to realize that when you do that, you lower your value, because if everybody is doing that, right, and there's people that have slept with a lot of people, you become less rare than someone who has slept with 2 or 3, let's say. So just by doing that, you have made yourself less special and less unique. You're obviously free to do it. You're probably American or English, so you're free to do what you want. But at the same time, you have to realize that different people have different standards. There's obviously going to be some guys who don't care. There's going to be some guys that it doesn't bother. And there's going to be other guys where they have a particular standard, as everyone does, has some sort of standard one way or another in different aspects, whether it's looks, personality, whatever it may be. So you're just not going to meet everyone's standards when you take actions like that. That's what I would say to your friend. So she's not doing anything wrong, but certain guys it will bother. And that's just the reality you have to face. And those guys aren't for you.
I think that what you're saying there about less value and stuff, I think that works for guys as well, right? Like, if a guy sleeps around a lot, you get that reputation of being like, oh, well, he'll sleep with anyone. Yeah, I mean, it's like...
Oh, yeah. It's just like, you kind of, when everybody, it's like McDonald's, right? If there was one McDonald's in the whole world, it's way more special than a McDonald's on every block.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's really what it's like. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day, when everybody is doing one thing to go with like tattoos, right? Tattoos used to be, especially in like the previous generations, it used to be the minority that was getting tattoos.
Yeah.
So you were kind of different when you got a tattoo. But as time has went on, and like millennials and Gen Z, and I think Gen Alpha is starting to get tattoos. I don't know if they're old enough, but the number of people getting tattoos increases. So now you're more unique if you don't have any tattoos. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of reversed, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think that especially when it comes to like guys, like they'll be classed as like a fuck boy if they're sleeping around. But I don't think it, as long as you're wrapping up and you're making sure you're not getting fucking gonorrhea and all sorts of STDs, then who cares? Who cares? Like, everyone's going to judge you on your body count. That's always going to happen. But I think that happens if you're a boy or a girl. Because, like, in every relationship I've been in, I've been asked my body count before starting the relationship. Do you know what I mean? I think it's just a general question, and people do judge off of it. If there's people openly slagging this girl off, then you just stand up for them and just tell them to fuck off, essentially, because it's her body. As Brian said, it's 2024. End of the day, if she wants to shag Tom, Dick, and Harry down the road, she can shag Tom, Dick, and Harry. Do you know what I mean? At the same time, if she wants to, who gives a shit?
So I'm lucky to be a host of this podcast and have my girlfriend listen to it. So I still get shit. Like, whenever I'm doing anything, Sabina gives me shit for... She doesn't even know how many people I slept with, mostly because I don't know either. But
That's
we're
what I like to hear. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh
So-
yeah.
Like, she said it the other day. She was like, "Oh, you'll know that better than anyone else, won't you, Dan?" I can't remember what we talk about, and I just ignore him now. Like she constantly gives me shit. Like, "Oh, I'll get a text message, and she'd be like, oh, another one of your sluts or something," and I'm like, I was like, we've been going out for almost 2 years now. Why am I still getting shit for sleeping with people? Like, what's going on here? So like, men definitely do still get it. Like, and especially like, I keep bringing it back to what Brian says about being less like. When I was younger and stuff like that, I had that reputation of sleeping with people, and that was down to my own self-worth. But people definitely knew that I was like, I've had people ask me not to sleep with people and stuff like that back in the day. And it is what it is, isn't it? Enjoy life. You only live once.
I can tell.
Hell no.
By your reaction. Nothing stopped him.
I had mates ask me not to sleep with like their sisters and stuff like that, and it's like, mate, I wouldn't do that. Like, come on, man, what the fuck? But like, no, I would never do stuff like that. Mostly because I don't want to get into. I like to be as less trouble as possible. Yeah, less trouble as possible. I don't like to mix two worlds. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, I like people are going to live their own life, right? And me personally, I would much rather sleep with someone that's been with a few people, because like the worst sex I've ever had is with people that have been like with one or two people.
Don't know what's going on.
Like
the one girl that had been with like one guy from like high school, and it was awful. It was like she just laid there like I'd pulled out of a lake and she was like drowning. You know what I mean, trying to gasp for air. She was like laying there like a fucking. And I'm like, what am I doing there? Like, I felt bad. I was going at it, and I felt bad for her. So it's like I'd much rather have a girl that had been around the block a couple of times, as long as she's been safe. Like Jamie says, like as long as you haven't been, you know what I mean, just letting anything dip in there. Like you still gotta be safe and clean. And
all of my sex is basically the same: 30 seconds, 3 thrusts, and then we're done. So you know,
that's what it is, though.
It's never mattered to me because it's always the same.
But that's what it's always, isn't it? 30 seconds of thrusting and 4 minute 30 seconds of cuddling. Isn't that not how it goes?
Any man that tells you more than that is a liar.
A taxi takes 5 minutes to get to your house once you've called it. You know what I mean? You got to do something for that time. Yeah, no, just defend her. Like Jamie says, like if people are going to go at her and stuff like that, fuck them. I mean, it's their body. They can do what the fuck they want with it. I don't agree with shaming people for those things. So fuck them. Mostly because I've done it. But here you go. Hopefully that helped, and hopefully your friends listening.
And also, if someone has a really, really low body count, we shouldn't shame them either. You know, and if someone has no body count at all, you should not shame them if they have no one and they have a kid, and it might not even be theirs because their body count is that low. You still should not shame them.
I wish I'd held on to my virginity a little longer, because like once the door opened, like I always say to Jamie, like you can't miss what you haven't had, and once you've had it, like it's like there now. It's in like your back of your mind, like you need it again. It's like a fucking drug. Yeah. So if you haven't had it, save it. And then once you've had it, let go and enjoy yourself.
On the TESD Reddit, someone wrote, like they mentioned I just had a kid, like when I had my kid, and someone went, "Wow, I thought that dude was a virgin."
No way.
On the Tell 'em Steve Dave Reddit, this is like a year ago, and I just responded, "I am a virgin."
Second coming, bitch.
That Reddit is so savage sometimes.
I can't get on with it. I've tried to set up our own thing on Reddit, but like there's so many rules of like you can't say this and you can't post that on different people's.
Yeah.
And
you have to be good at it, I think.
With like promoting your show on Reddit is so fucking like impossible.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, we don't want you to post or mention your show. It's like, so why the fuck would I use your Reddit?
Yeah. I remember it was one to like help people get to grips with like what they're doing. So I went on there and I was like, oh, on my show, we don't really know how we're doing this. How are other people doing it and doing it? And then I got a message that said, oh, you can't mention your own show. And I'm like, what? I only mentioned it as how do I accomplish something? And they were like, no, you got to take it down. I was like, oh fuck you then, like fucking bother.
It's ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're all people in basements fucking waiting for something to do. That's why.
So at the beginning of the year, like when summer was starting, you know, we do movies on my show based on true stories. So I went on r/movies and I asked, I was like, hey, and I love teen sex comedy movies, and I couldn't find any that were based on a true story that we could do on the show. So I just made a comment where I was like, hey, does anyone, I do this podcast reviewing history, blah, blah, blah. Does anybody know any teen sex comedies that are based on true stories? I would love to cover it on the show. And there were people like, I'm not doing content for you, man. If you want content, you got to pay me. And I was like, dude, I'm not asking you for content. I'm asking you for the name of a fucking movie.
Jesus,
you know,
fuck.
it's like if I said, what was the last Marvel movie to come out? And they're like, I'm not giving you content, bro. It's like, what? That's not content. It's answering a question. I still have to watch the movie and talk about it and do all that.
Yeah.
So I'll never get it. I don't think I'll ever. I'll have to, like, when we get to a point, I'll have to pay someone to do it because I just don't. I don't know if it's my age. I don't know, but I just don't get it. Fucking mental.